Hi everybody, it's great to be back with you on IntoBridge doing the daily challenge. I have good news and bad news. The good news is we're going to have fun today, and the bad news is I'm going to try really hard to win. Okay, let's get started. I'm using Gavin's advanced system, which is a system I quite recommend. I think Gavin's done a very good job of showing us sort of what expert standard is and being pretty close to it. So if you wanted to learn like only one system, I would recommend Gavin's system. All right, I'm going to start here with one diamond. See what happens. So it's come back to us at one heart. I think we could double. What is a double? A double is a takeout double. We do have that. However, we have a singleton heart. And I think with having a singleton heart, I don't really want partner passing this out. I'm just going to bid 2 clubs, which I have 4 of those, and see what happens. Okay. Well, my partner might have corrected me back to diamonds since I bid them first. I think this is something that they might be able to fix in the programming. You'd much rather be in 2 diamonds than 2 clubs, but how am I as South supposed to know? So with most of my partnerships, I play support doubles here so that North would make a support double with 3-card diamond support. That's what I would recommend playing. The reason is when you bother to respond to diamond to a club, you often do care about 3-card support, so it's nice to hear about it. As it is, if I were North, if I wasn't playing support doubles, I'd be thinking, well, I don't know about this club fit. It was kind of dicey. I'm just going to go back to 2 diamonds. That would be literally the extent of my thought process. I can take a pitch on the spades. The only problem is if I do that, I'm wide open everywhere. This would really be so much better to be playing in diamonds, but here we are. The king, huh? So let's see. If that's singleton, we're really in bad shape. But if that's king queen, it's really not so bad because I can go back to my hand and leave another club up. Do I want to tap myself out? So what I could do is cross and catch the king of hearts, pitching a spade loser, cross and diamonds and lead a club. That might work well if everything breaks, but otherwise it's not going to work very well. So I think I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to try to play this as safely. Okay, so as we can see, this is such a much worse contract than 2 diamonds would have been. If I'd have known the bot was even capable of doing this sort of thing, I think I would not have even bid 2 clubs. I would just bid 2 diamonds. Now I'm going to be squeezing my dummy on top of everything. Well, that's probably my fault. I guess I could have taken the king of hearts first and made sure he had to exit a spade. Now he's going to play a heart to my hand and make me play the spades. So what am I? I'm down 1. Yeah. So I guess I could have made that if I had taken the king of hearts. Okay, anyway, we're down 1, is what it is. Imagine some of you guys will beat me on this one. Okay. This time we have 18 highs. I'm going to open 1 club. And even though I could bid 1 or 2 spades, it's always right to bid 2 no trump. We have methods to uncover the 4-4 spade bid if we have one. When you have balanced hands, it's usually best just to treat them like a balanced hand and rebid in a balanced hand kind of way. All right, so we get a spade lead. It looks like it would be really nice for us if we could guess the spades, maybe get an extra trick that way. I think you can play the jack, but you can also play the 3. The advantage of playing the 3 is it guarantees of 3 spade tricks no matter what. Because if it goes 3, 10, queen, you can just give them the king. If it goes jack, king, ace, you haven't developed anything, right? So I think it's pretty normal to play small here. Scoop the 9, that's pretty sweet. All right, we're going to play clubs, obviously, to knock out the ace. And we're going to have a diamond loser at the end with this 8 of diamonds. We'll see if maybe something magical will happen about that. Oh my, so East had ace, 10, 8, 5, 3 of clubs. So he's still got the 10, 8 over my 9. So he's still going to take another club trick, it would appear. West has discarded a spade on this trick, it looks like. So he probably has a whole bunch of spades, hearts, and diamonds. I would guess that West, let's see how the spades break. Okay, West started with 4 spades and no clubs. So I'm guessing it's weird for him to have led a spade from board of the king 10 when he has a 5-card suit somewhere, but that's what he chose to do. So I can't tell right now if he has 5 hearts or 5 diamonds, but he has at least 5 of one of them. And West has hidden this well from us by not discarding from any red suits. In real life, humans don't play this way. First of all, he would have probably led his 5-card suit, whatever it happens to be. It's probably hearts, really, right? That would make sense. Maybe he didn't want to lead a heart because we had bid that suit. But in real life, he would have discarded a heart. You know, people would never discard from a 4 spades to the king, even if it is theoretically safe for them to do so. Okay, this 9 of diamonds back is pretty interesting. The reason that this 9 of diamonds back is interesting is if this is an honest card, East has the queen, jack 10. And if that's the case, we might be able to end play him to break the clubs for us. Because we know 3 of these remaining cards are clubs, right? So I'm not going to duck this trick. I actually don't see any reason to. And I'm just going to cash some stuff and see what happens. Oops. So East is now throwing the jack away. Interesting. So again, if the carding is to be believed, I'm not entirely sure I can believe the robots. In real life, you can always figure this stuff out. And the reason is people mostly have to play honest cards. Otherwise, their partners make mistakes, right? So if West had the 10 of diamonds, in real life, they would have returned the 10 of diamonds. They wouldn't be returning the 9. I don't know how these robots play, but I'm going to go under the assumption that East has the 10 of diamonds for the same reason, okay? If that's the case and he's throwing the jack, my guess is he still has the 10, and he still has 3 clubs, and he probably has exactly 2. So I'm going to cash some hearts and see what's what. The queen falls. Oh my goodness. Could East have 1 of it? That would give West 6 hearts, 4 spades, and 3 diamonds. I suppose that's certainly possible. Now, restricted choice would tell me to finesse this 9 of hearts right now. The problem with doing that is that when it's wrong, East is going to win it and set us in diamonds, right? He'll win it and cash the diamond. And I guess I'd make only 3, 7, 8. But by playing a heart to the ace, I think I can almost guarantee 4 because I can go back to my queen of clubs and he still going to have 2 clubs left, and I can leave my 8 of diamonds to end play him with, regardless of what the heart position is. But if I finesse the heart and I'm right, then I can actually make an over trick by squeezing East in the minors. It's so strange to me that West would keep all 6 of their little hearts if they had them, right? Like, who does that? I'm honestly very confused by the robots discarding. They've done very well to hide this hand from me. The queen of hearts. That is quite a card to see. Could East have the jack also, like a queen jack small? And West had 5 diamonds and not only didn't discard one, but then also discarded the spade. That's very interesting. Well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, but I don't think West is a favorite to have 6 hearts. That's just such a strange thing for West to do, even though restricted choice would say I should finesse the 10. These robots, man, they give us some hard problems, don't they? So I think I'm going to stick in the ace. Oh, look at that. It just seemed unlikely that they would have 6 cards and hearts and never discard one and instead discarding from like 4 cards, 8 suits and the like. That's such an unusual thing to do that I just decided not to play for. All right, now watch this. East's last 4 cards are 3 clubs to the 10-8, and I presume he has the 10 of diamonds. So he can't throw a club, so he has to throw his last diamond. Unfortunately, he did not have the 10 of diamonds. It would seem West had it, because I don't think I've seen the 10, which means that I cannot take the rest of the tricks. But if East had held it, he would have had to throw it away, and my 8 would be good. Anyway, I don't think we can do better than this in terms of tricks, so that went okay. Now, it's very rare for me to go against restricted choice, right? But here it just seems so unlikely that West having 6 hearts to just throw from all worth, and there's only 4 in the dummy, and he knows he can throw one, throws a spade from 4. Like maybe a robot might do that, but humans really don't do that sort of thing. All right, here we have a balanced 11. I would not even call this a very good 11 because it has too many queens and jacks. It's my style in real life to open these kind of hands when I'm not vulnerable. I think it doesn't, you don't have to open this kind of stuff. It creates some sort of problems, such as the kind of problems it creates is that you're just a smidgen lighter, so your partner can't force the game as heavily as they otherwise might. Okay, so he's opened a strong no trump. We have 11, we're gonna force the game. It's 3 clubs, puppet stamen, let's do that. This is a really good hand for that method, because if he has 5 hearts, it sure looks to me like we might belong in hearts with our little tiny club. And then 3 hearts, in puppet stamen, his 3 diamonds says he doesn't have a 5-card major. I'm going to show my spades by bidding 3 hearts. He bids 3. So, we're in the normal contract. There was a very famous player from the past named Terence Rees, who I'm sure some of you have read some of his books. He was from England. He used to think it's so silly that we bid stamen all the time, because look what happens. You just end up in 3-0 anyway. And now instead you've just told the opponents exactly where, like the lengths in the majors. Now the opponents know he doesn't have 4 spades or he doesn't have 5 hearts. But if you bid 1-0, 3-0, they don't have any clues. They might make bad leads instead of good ones. Okay, the queen seems like the normal play. I could have played the 7, hoping East has the 10 and the 9 of hearts, and I would just gain a trick. But since I'm wide open in clubs, I don't really love the idea of letting the opponents in over and over. So I'm just going to do this play and take my 2 sure heart tricks. Now we have 9 certain tricks if the diamonds break, right? 4 diamonds, 2 spades, 2 hearts, and club. So the goal in this hand may be to see if we can do better. Now this is very cute. You see this 9 of diamonds? If that's a singleton, you see how I can now lead the 2 over to the queen and finesse, run the 10 through west. So again, against most people, you would say, oh, good, I'm going to do that. And the reason I'm going to do that is I just think that East probably doesn't have, the jack anymore. And if they do, it's going to fall on the next round. So it's perfectly safe to lead the 2 to the queen, right? The only problem is if East is really smart, he might have jack 9 small and diamonds and be just dumping the 9 and trying to fool you into letting him score the jack. Now, I don't think East is necessarily doing that, but it's definitely a very nice play. But I am not going to play my opponents to be that smart. So diamonds just broke. So, it didn't matter what I did. But you can see if East had 4 diamonds to the jack now, I could no longer finesse him out of it. Like my normal play is the ace and the king. So that 9 of diamonds is what's called a mandatory false card, where you just do the thing, because if you don't do it, you're screwed. It's really cool. Like there are books on how to false card and when to false card, but it's very complicated. And I don't really recommend it, because if you false card too much, your partners will start to lose their hair like I have, and they'll start to pull their hair out if they have any left, and they'll stop wanting to play with you. Because part of the fun of bridge is it's a partnership game where you and your partner help each other do well. And if you're constantly false carding, you're not going to be helping your partner in any way. All right, so I'm playing a spade here. I'm going to play them backwards here, like away from the ace queen, just because there's no real gain to leading the jack. Because if I lead the jack, it's just going to be covered by the king, and I'll get 2 tricks. Or West has the king, right? So it's kind of like you can do that. The advantage of doing that is that when the king is with East, I retain the lead, and it's still my turn to keep doing things. But you can see here, I've got nothing left to do except play the spades, right? The rest of the suits are set up, or they're wide open, or they are what they are. When you play spades this way, there's a chance you take an additional spade trick. If either West panics and plays the king, right? Now your jack's good. Or if West has only 2 or 3 spades to the king, then low to the jack, and I can duck the next round, and the ace will take the king. So this is just a straight up better technical play, even though it looks weird. But as you can see, the king was over there, so there was nothing doing. At this point, it seems very unlikely that I'm going to take any more tricks than what I've got going on. If I am to take any more tricks, since I have 9 top tricks, it would be helpful to reduce my loser, like my loser count. I would like to be 1 trick short of what I'd like to take. I think trying to take more than 10 tricks would be incredibly greedy. I think even 10 tricks here is incredibly greedy, but I would like to be like at 3 losers so that it's easier to run some sort of squeeze or end position. So I'm just going to duck this hard, even though I don't think East ever has the 10 and the 9. And I'm going to duck this club to get down to the position I want to be in. Okay. So at this point, the way I'll give you guys a hint that's going to let you run some squeezes without even realizing it. It's a very simple metric. When you're 1 trick short of the rest, you can see we are here, right? We have every single trick except for 1. We have 5 of the last 6. When you're 1 trick short of the rest, you have nothing to do. You just run your tricks. Simple as that, okay? You want to run them in an order that keeps your communications fluid between the 2 hands. So it would be a mistake to cash our clubs and our spades first, okay? We want to cash our diamonds and our hearts first, right? You can see our diamonds and our hearts. They're just winners. They're not doing anything. But you can see, like in spades, we have this potential 7 of spades. It's unlikely to take a trick, but you never know. And in clubs, we have this potential 9 of clubs. It's very unlikely to take a trick, but you never know, right? So you generally want to leave those kind of suits for the very end and just run your other winners. So I'm just going to cash my red cards and hope for the best, right? Now you can see that if somebody has 4 spades or more, right? That's just mathematically. I had 4, Dummy had 2. At least one of them has 4 spades and the other one doesn't. When I say at least one of them, I mean exactly one of them has at least 4 spades. So what's going to happen on this heart is that person has to discard down to a singleton in clubs, right, to keep their spades. Now, some people won't be able to have the fortitude to do that if it means like bearing their king of clubs. They're more likely to throw away from 4 spades to the 10, let's say, right? It's a psychological thing, it's a mistake, but you know, like the king of clubs looks higher than the 10 of spades. Some people will simply go by that metric. Or sometimes if the auction wasn't very revealing, they might not even realize they have to keep their little spades to stop the spades, right? They might be a pure guess. And sometimes when you're really lucky, they're forced to unguard it because maybe they had the king, queen, jack, 10 of clubs all to themselves and they can't come down to a singleton club because it would give away the club suit. So here it looks like Leo West had king, jack, 10 of clubs, but their partner had the queen, so they're okay, right? So it looks to me like West is guarding the spades. So all this was for naught. There's no way the robots are going to let me score the 7 of spades, but this technique of when you have all the rest of the tricks but 1, cash your tricks in a sensible order, is a really good technique that I promise you will get you extra tricks all the time. That's the reason it gets you extra tricks a lot, is that's literally the way that a squeeze operates under those principles. So if there is a squeeze on the hand, you're gonna do it by accident, which is pretty cool. And even if there isn't a squeeze, by following that process, you're going to be giving your opponents the most difficult problems you can. And we all know bridge is a hard game, and people are going to screw it up sometimes. Okay, I guess 1-0 is totally non-forcing, so here we are. I'd rather be in hearts, but I didn't really want to invite in hearts because this hand isn't really strong enough for that. And we have been blessed with a heart lead. Normally I might play low here, hoping the lead's from the king queen, which if that's 4th best, the lead is from the king queen. It would be king queen 7-5. The problem with that play is that it blocks up the hard suit well and good, even if it is from king queen 7-5. We'd feel really smart as we snuck in our 8 of hearts. Then we'd feel really sheepish as we played our ace of hearts and East shows out and we've killed our own heart suit, because we can get there once with the diamond and again to set them up and then never get back to them. So on this hand, it's very important that you don't duck this trick. I just want to take the ace and continue the suit, even though there's a good chance that, you know, I could have scooped in the 8. I'm covering this on general principles, maybe to muddy the waters. You know, maybe they'll screw up and play the 7 diamonds to the 8 and queen next, right? If I don't play the 10, East is never playing the queen or the jack. He'll notice the 9 is high enough. So even though the 10 has no technical merit, it's still like a good play here to make. You know, might once in a while cause them to make a mistake in a diamond suit. I'm going to throw a spade away. It doesn't really matter what I throw away here. See, now I'm going to play the 6 of diamonds and hope it goes queen. You know, it's unlikely, but in real life, this stuff does happen. Now the question is going to be, do I risk playing a spade for an extra over trick or not. If the diamonds are to be believed, then East has 6 to the Queen Jack, and playing a spade would be terrible because East's hand is high and I would lose my club trick. If there's any other diamond break, it might be okay, but I'm just not going to risk it. I'm just going to go plus. Maybe I'll get lucky and no, he had another. So I needed to play a spade, it looks like, but East would be able to throw his queen of clubs away and it would have been the exact same result. He would just unguard his clubs at that point and keep his diamond winner. So I think on this smart 9 of diamonds shift, there wasn't much I could do other than make one. You can see we do better in hearts, right? I think we do. Maybe we don't. It looks like on a club lead, we might lose 2 hearts, 2 clubs, and a spade for making 2. And it's hard to see how we lose more than that. So probably if you can get to 2 hearts, good for you. But it says you can make 3 hearts. So I guess the timing is such that I can leave my spade in time to not lose a spade trick. But I mean, there's no realistic way, I think, to invite into 3 hearts because I don't think this hand is quite good enough and the hearts suck. And if you invite to 3 hearts and partner passes it, you're going to feel a little bit sheepish with this dummy, with this hand. All right, there's 16 highs, but we have a singleton. So we don't want to open a no trump. That would be a little bit sicko. To any of you opening a no trump, I'm not calling you a sicko or saying you're a sicko bidder. I'm just saying it's, a little unstandard. Okay, we've gotten to 2 clubs. What should North have done? Should North have passed 2 clubs? I would probably bid 2 diamonds, but I totally understand passing 2 clubs where at least you have something of a fit. 2 diamonds, your suit's not very good and you might be in a worse fit. So how are we going to play this? We could go up with the ace and take a spade rough. The problem with that approach is I can't get back to my hand again. So I'm always only getting 1 spade rough anyway. So I don't see a huge upside for not taking the club finesse. So I'm going to take it. And it wins this time. Once again, I can still only take 1 spade rough, and it's not even clear it's going to help me much because I might have been able to finesse the club, and now I won't be able to, right? So I think I might take a different tack and just try to set up a diamond trick here. Okay, he won the ace of diamonds and cashed the ace of hearts. Okay, so he's a passed hand. I think it's very likely the king of clubs is on my left with West. Now a new question arises. Do we duck this or win this? So both lines are completely feasible. It kind of depends what we're going for. And so I'm going to consider both lines. If we go up with the king, we can cash the ace, king of spades, discarding a heart from the dummy, and like rough a card, king of diamonds, discarding a card, rough a card, rough a spade with the ace, and try to rough something with another club and like score another club basically. So that would give us how many tricks if it works? It would be, we have 1 trick in the bank, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if everything works. Alternatively, we can play the jack, which is great when East has ace queen. That's clearly just going to be a better play because it's 1 more trick. Another thing we could do is win the king of hearts and try a club toward the ace 10 and hope the diamonds split. If I was going to play for all that, I probably should have unblocked my clubs earlier to make all this more fluid. I don't know why East is switching to the ace of hearts unless he has ace queen. Maybe he was worried the ace would go away, or maybe the robots just defend that way. I think I'm going to play the jack and hope it wins the trick. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, the suit broke. Good. So I think ace, king, and a spade rough leaves me with 2 spades in my hand. I can play the king of diamonds, pitching 1 of them, and hope a diamond rough lives. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. I think it would also be reasonable to play a club intending to finesse the 10, maybe. If I do that, then I'm hoping diamonds are 3-3, clubs are 3-3, and I have the rest. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do some little cross-roughy things. I think the other line requires everything to split so evenly that I'm just not really interested in trying for it. Now's where it gets interesting. Do I want to risk roughing low? If I rough low and it lives, I can then rough the spade with the ace of clubs and I have another trick, right? And if I rough high and West follows with a diamond, I'll feel a little sheepish because I've probably cost myself a trick. But if I rough low and get over roughed, I could go down. Whereas if I rough high, I can't go down. Right? If I rough low and West over roughs me like the 7 and returns a low club to the ace, well, I just went down. On the other hand, that would require West having 4 clubs for that to happen. So let's think about his shape. He has at least 3 hearts. He has at least 3 spades. He high-load in spades. I don't know exactly if they give count or what count they're playing. I don't know how to find that out. So it looks like West has 4 spades. Thank you, Stefan. He says West in East play standard carding. So West has 4 spades. Looks like West has at least 3 hearts, probably 4. Let a club and a diamond. So yeah, I think West is most likely either 4-4, probably 4-4-2-3. So I'm just not going to risk it. Okay, I'm glad I didn't risk it. I must have missed a diamond somewhere. No, I don't. I don't know what happened. Okay. Oh no, he pitched it on the spade back, right? Okay, so I made this contract. Is that what happened here? Could I have done better? I don't know. We're about to find out. It says I can only make 2, so I think we did all right to make 2. We can make 3 diamonds. Diamonds would have been a better contract. So had we opened the no trump, we might have been transferred into diamonds. And if we had the discipline to just take a big gulp and accept the transfer, we might have been able to play in 3 diamonds. But it's kind of a hair-raising contract. It's not even clear to me exactly how you would play it. Like you're going to lose 3 trump tricks in the ace of hearts, so you better guess it well, I guess. Anyway, guys, thank you for having me join you today. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'll see you next time.